Be good to each other. The Last Jedi stirs up a lot of intense emotions for people, both positive and negative. As you can tell by the title of the video, I am firmly in that positive pool, but I generally think that having passionate feelings for media is a beautiful thing, whether those feelings are good or bad, as long as we don't use that passion to attack others when they're trying to have a good faith conversation about it. I do not harbor ill will towards you for a disagreement, so all I ask is that instead of fights, we have discussions. I don't imagine that my video will change the mind of everybody that dislikes The Last Jedi, only that I can provide you my perspective and maybe give you some things to think about if you revisit the movie. So just be good to each other. Okay? Okay. Now, as the man said, punch it! I'm probably gonna shock a lot of people when I say that Star Wars was not something that I latched onto like most people. I liked the movies, I played some of the games, I had a lightsaber toy like every kid did, but it was never really a fandom I threw my whole self into like so many others. Maybe it's because I'd grown up in a world where Star Wars had been so thoroughly influential on everything I watched that none of it felt new by the time I got to it. Maybe it's because I started watching them as a teenager rather than a little kid, so it didn't grab my imagination properly. Or maybe it's because my first Star Wars movie was Attack of the Clones, which is hot doo-doo on toast.
I don't like sand.
But the important takeaway is that I knew Star Wars mattered to the world, but it had yet to matter to me. Then came The Last Jedi. I have no qualms in saying that The Last Jedi is a masterpiece. That isn't to say it's perfect, but it's to say that the film has gears working on a level that most films don't even attempt. It somehow works so well that it even recontextualizes the prequels into stories worth telling. It's the first movie in this franchise that leans less on the pew pew whooshy whooshy jump to hyperspace star, and more into the wars. Wait, hang on, did I write that? Does that make any sense? Was that English? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this film is less about the voyeuristic tendencies of Star Wars past, and instead wants to dig way deep into the core of what it means to be a good person and a bad person, while also providing a thematic message of hope so powerful I sometimes find myself moved to tears just thinking about it. To really break this down, we need to look at our three main characters and the relationships that push them throughout the story. And just because it's the one that gets the most hate, I'm going to start off with a little unexpected swerve. Let's talk about Finn. Finn is a deserter of the First Order, but someone who never properly joined the Resistance either. In fact, he explicitly left the First Order after his first time in combat shook him to his core. It's not surprising he isn't entirely on board to join another army. The Resistance was, at most, a tool to try and impress Rey.
So you're with the Resistance?
Obviously.
And it was with Rey that he escaped in the Millennium Falcon, who he went to rescue after she was taken by the First Order. And Rey he experienced trauma with when Han died. The most emotional moment he has with any member of the Resistance is getting Poe's jacket. Finn has to learn that it isn't enough to just reject the First Order, he has to find something bigger than himself worth fighting for. If you aren't already sold on this idea, his first words after being essentially resurrected are, "Where's Rey?" What's impressive to me here is that a lot of movies, especially those under the Disney umbrella, will tell you that friendship is the most important thing in the world, even if it's inherently destructive, or if one of you almost killed the other, or even if you make lame TV shows. In The Last Jedi, that kind of thinking gets you dressed down like a fool.
You're a selfish traitor.
Oh shit! I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck.
And it's far more important to understand the grander implications of your actions. He starts off small, willing to trust Poe, who isn't really being the best soldier himself at the moment, and over time learns more about what the Resistance is fighting for. We'd seen what the First Order and the Empire does to dissidents, but we'd never seen what they did on planets they control. Surely this widespread conglomerate couldn't attain so much power if every person on every planet they control was on the verge of rebelling against them, right? Maybe they're actually really good to their own people. And for a time, it seems that way. When we first see Canto Bight, we see smiles and opulence. Everything is shiny and everyone's so well dressed, and this boat can fly! Finn is even taken by the charm of this veneer until Rose points out that this lovely coat of paint is put on by something even worse than slavery.
Boom. A child.
No, child slavery. Fucking non sequitur jokes. However, the audience themselves may not be motivated by this. Of course, we know they're doing bad things. They're the bad guys. Bad guys do bad things. For this idea to really work, it needs an extra step. DJ is that extra step. A man so far removed from both sides, his name is literally an acronym for don't join. He doesn't see what either side is fighting for, only that they're fighting. This guy is deeply entrenched in the position that Finn finds himself in now, between both sides, only fighting for himself and the things he wants. Of course, this selfish ideology results in Finn and Rose being betrayed and left to die, while also getting most of the Resistance's escape shuttles blown up. Finn and the audience see firsthand that choosing no side only helps the bad guys. DJ doesn't stand on any kind of ground. Finn even points this out to him.
You're wrong. Maybe.
That maybe is so important, as it reminds the audience that no matter what DJ chooses to do, he doesn't have the conviction to know he's making the right choice. Benicio even gave the character a stutter just to drive home this character's uncertainty.
Need a left?
All of these lessons culminate in Finn's defining moment of the film.
Rebel scum.
So when people tell me that they think Finn's subplot amounts to nothing, I think that's misunderstanding the goal. In The Force Awakens, Finn leaves the First Order because he was afraid to die. In The Last Jedi, he ends up willing to sacrifice himself. When viewed as a whole, this isn't about changing the war. This is about changing minds. Speaking of which...
Nothing can make me change my mind.
Well, nothing except for Rey. And a little help from Ghost Yoda, but mostly Rey. Rey is possibly the best audience surrogate we'll see in our lifetimes. We came into this film with the same questions she had. How will Luke react to her? What is her place in this universe? And yes, who are her parents? And each time someone gives her an answer, we feel the same way she does. We feel the confused defeat of Luke tossing away the lightsaber. We feel those glimmers of hope when she truly reaches out with the Force. And we feel that same devastation when she's told her parents are nobodies. As Rey deals with being rejected by the Luke in front of her, she chooses to take note from the Luke who inspired her, the one who turned Darth Vader by reaching out to his goodness. And Rey may not have been able to truly pull Kylo Ren out of the dark side, but you know who she does save? Luke. Luke had cut himself off so completely from the Force that he didn't even know that one of his closest friends had died. Leia knew immediately, but Luke had no idea until Chewbacca showed up without him.
Wait. Where's Han?
Luke has looked at the Jedi Order we saw in the prequels and sees that their imperfections created a place where evil could cultivate, where they were fighting to preserve a status quo instead of create more light in the galaxy. If an entire order of Jedi couldn't be fighters for the light, then he feels that he should give up as well. What's worse is the justification Luke makes is completely backwards.
To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. Can you feel that?
Luke claims that the Force will always have a light side, so the Jedi should die out. In truth, it's that the light side will always exist, therefore Jedi, or more accurately those that fight for goodness, can't die out. If Luke were to die, if Rey were to die, then there would still be this kid. And if this kid were gone, there would be another somewhere else. Rey, along with some help from Ghost Yoda, help Luke to realize that the purpose of being a master is to help the next generation be better than themselves. Because goodness is always coming, help it grow. I don't know if there's a more powerful image in this movie than Luke realizing he got to die doing just that, fading into the Force while bathed in light. Though I don't think it's the most powerful thing in the film. Poe Dameron is a wannabe hero, a guy who wants to be celebrated for saving the day. It's shown most prominently in the way he defies orders from Leia and keeps secrets from Holdo in order to do something that would probably get your name written in a history book somewhere. However, both Leia and Holdo keep that ever-savored treat from him, Holdo even shuts him out of important information specifically because she knows Poe wants to go out in a blaze of glory, instead of learning the most important lesson in this film. Keep moving forward. They are a group of a few ships that are trying to survive an onslaught from the First Order. Trying to strike back wouldn't help any of them, so they do the best thing for them, to keep moving forward. When a ship is about to be destroyed, they move the entire crew, save its captain, to another ship, because it's most important that they keep moving forward. When the last ship is down, they move forward to a planet. When the planet is attacked, they move forward to the Millennium Falcon. It's no coincidence that in order for Poe to blow up the Dreadnought at the beginning, he has to have a swarm of bombers move back from the main ships to fight it. It's a simple message, and possibly the most effective one, especially when it's so easy to get weighed down in the moment when fighting an oppressor. You can't always be the great destroyer of empires, but you can always choose to keep moving forward. And these are what I take away from The Last Jedi. Choosing no sides only helps the bad guys. Goodness is always coming, help it grow, and keep moving forward. They might seem a little silly or trite when I spell them out so blatantly like this, but to me these ideas are a comfort. One that lets me feel like the future will always get better if we're willing to work for it. We may forget who the good guys are, we may feel cheated and defeated, and we may not even get to be the hero, but we will be the spark that will light the fire that will brighten the future. Wait, no, that can't be the end. There's all this other stuff I want to talk about, like this moment where it's like Kylo and Leia are having a conversation, but neither of them says a word, and they aren't even in the same room, but Carrie Fisher and Adam Driver sell it because they're just that good. Or when Yoda shows up and uses the Force to call down lightning, which we'd only seen before from Palpatine, but it delivers a really good message that powers like the Force aren't really about what you use, but how you use it that makes it good or evil. Ooh, or how Luke's decision to project himself onto the planet rather than show up gives him all the power of a martyr while also robbing the First Order of being able to say they killed him. God, this movie's just so good. It's so good. I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm sorry you don't like it, but it's so good. I'm sorry. I totally lost my cool there for a minute, but I needed to get that out. When The Last Jedi had its backlash, there were a lot of people who cried foul at those who, like me, loved this film. I'm sure some of those people will probably show up in the comments saying they specifically didn't even watch the video, but that I'm still wrong for liking it. However, while they choose to live negatively, I choose to live with these messages that point to better days. And maybe you aren't that type. Maybe you just didn't find the movie entertaining. And that's okay too. But hopefully I've at least made it clear that when we say we love The Last Jedi, it's because of this. It's because The Last Jedi has been doing the thing that Star Wars has tried to do since 1977. Give people hope. And The Last Jedi was what finally made me feel that too. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.